Think you've seen every chicken breed worth raising? Think again. 2025 is bringing in a wave of useful, flashy, and downright weird chickens, some bred for performance, others going viral for their looks. Today, we're breaking down the newest and most talked about chicken breeds, whether you want eggs, meat, or just something jaw-dropping in your coop. Let's kick this off with the practical stuff. These are the breeds that actually earn their keep, laying a solid number of eggs and still putting on enough size to make a good meat bird. Whether you're trying to cut your feed bill, feed your family, or build a business, these chickens work hard. First up, Freedom Rangers. You've probably heard of Cornish Cross, but Freedom Rangers are the smarter choice if you're raising on pasture or trying to cut back on grain. They're slower growing, yes, but that means way fewer health problems, better flavor, and better foraging instincts. They hit 5 to 6 pounds in about 9 to 11 weeks, and they actually move around your field. You can raise them in chicken tractors or even open pasture systems. And here's the cool part. If you give them access to decent forage, they can cut your feed costs by up to 20%. Honestly, they taste better, they don't keel over from heart attacks, and they fit way better into regenerative or small-scale systems. Next, Dixie Rainbows. These are tanks. I mean it. They're colorful, cold-hardy, heat-tolerant, and grow to 8-10 pounds if you want meat, but they also lay 250-plus brown eggs a year. Dual-purpose perfection. They've been bred specifically for American farms, not showbirds, not urban pets, just hard-working chickens that adapt to low-input systems. You can pasture them, raise them on your own homegrown feed, and they'll still grow and lay like champs. And if you've got kids or visitors, their multicolored feathers make them one of the prettiest utility birds out there. Now let's talk Australorps. These are basically leghorns without the drama. Cross a leghorn with a black Australorp and you get a small, calm, white egg-laying machine that doesn't eat much but keeps cranking out over 300 eggs a year. They're lightweight, easy on the feed bill, and great for small setups. Plus, they're not flighty like leghorns can be. They're chill, efficient, and great for rotational grazing or backyard coops. Just solid birds all around. Can't skip black stars. These have been around a while, but they're making a comeback for good reason. They're a sex-linked hybrid, so you know what you're getting at hatch, and they lay big brown eggs like clockwork. 300 eggs a year is pretty standard, and they've got just enough meat on them to make processing worth it. They're smart, predator-aware, and they don't go broody as often, so if you just want production, these birds deliver. Amberlinks are another sleeper hit. They're sweet, consistent, and lay up to 320 eggs a year. Plus, they're tough. I've seen amberlinks lay in heat waves and cold snaps when other birds just quit. Their feed-to-egg ratio is impressive, and if you give them good pasture or let them scratch in the garden, they'll make it go even further. Great for families too. They're friendly and easy to handle. Last one in this group, Whiting True Blue. If you want beautiful blue eggs and high production, this is your bird. They were bred by a guy who also bred fly-tying feathers, and they lay 280-300 blue eggs a year, way more than the typical Amarocana or Araucana. They're lean, alert, and great for free ranging. If you're selling eggs at a market or CSA, a dozen blue eggs in a carton adds serious appeal. And Whiting True Blues help you get there without sacrificing output. So if you're raising birds for more than just looks, these dual-purpose breeds hit that sweet spot, efficient, reliable, and easy to work with. Some lay like leghorns, some grow like meat birds, and a few do both shockingly well. Up next, let's get into the weird and viral breeds everyone's obsessed with online, from goth chickens to zombie birds. It gets wild. Alright, let's talk about the birds blowing up your social feed. These aren't necessarily the most productive, but they've captured people's imaginations. If you're running a farm with a public presence or you just want chickens that stop people in their tracks, these are your stars. Let's start with the absolute icons, Iam Simonis. These are the famous goth chickens with black feathers, black skin, black organs, even black bones. But not black eggs. Yeah, it's real. It's caused by a genetic trait called fibromelanosis, and it gives them this deep, iridescent black look that makes them look almost mythical. Originating from Indonesia, they've got a strong cultural and spiritual history, but here in the US they've become status birds. They're not great layers, maybe 80 to 100 small cream-colored eggs a year, but they sell for hundreds of dollars per bird if you've got a quality line. So no, they won't feed your family, but if you want to hatch chicks and sell rare stock, they're a money-making magnet and a guaranteed way to get people talking. Next, silkies. You've seen them. They're fluffy, ridiculous, and completely adorable. Silkies have been around for centuries and have been called everything from lap chickens to the poodles of the poultry world. They've got black skin, 5 toes, and that soft, fur-like feathering. They're not great for production, maybe 100 small eggs a year, but they're broody machines. If you raise your own chicks or want a natural incubator, a silky hen will happily hatch anything from bantams to ducks. These birds are insanely popular with families, 4-H kids, and YouTubers. They're basically livestock mascots. Now for something that looks straight up prehistoric, frizzles and sizzles. Frizzles are chickens with feathers that curl outward instead of lying flat. They come in all sorts of breeds, Cochins, Polish, you name it, but that frizzled gene makes them look like they got caught in a wind tunnel. Take that one step further and cross a frizzled bird with a silky and you get a sizzle. Soft, fluffy, and completely absurd looking. These are novelty birds, but they're actually surprisingly sweet. Good for small backyard flocks. And if you sell hatching eggs, frizzle and sizzle eggs can go for a premium just because people want something fun and different. Alright, brace yourself. Naked neck chicken, also known as a turkin. These chickens literally have no feathers on their necks. They look like a cross between a turkey and a velociraptor, and they weird people out. But guess what? They're incredibly hardy. Naked necks are heat-tolerant, good foragers, and actually produce a decent amount of meat. Despite their appearance, they're known for being calm, friendly, and very adaptable. They're also great foragers, scratching through pasture or woods without issue. And they do well in mixed flocks. If you're looking for a no-nonsense bird that can handle heat, save you time on processing, and spark conversation every time someone visits the coop, the naked neck is worth a second look. Last in this viral category, Polish chickens. You know the ones. Big feather poof on top, look like they're wearing a bad wig. These birds are friendly, curious, and totally weird in the best way. They're not great layers, maybe 150 white eggs a year, but people love them. They're Instagram darlings, kid-friendly, and just so visually striking. If you've got a farm stand B&B or any kind of agritourism setup, one of these birds roaming around is a guaranteed icebreaker. They are also dumber than a box of rocks. And for the latest social media trend, zombie chickens. They are a striking cross between an Ayam Samani rooster and a white leghorn hen. Their ghostly paint-patterned feathers and dark skin give them a half-alive appearance, earning the nickname. Despite the spooky look, they're hardy, friendly, and lay 5-6 large tinted eggs per week. Alright, so we've talked about the useful, the viral, and now, it's time to shine a light on some chickens that don't fit neatly into one box. Let's kick things off with the Icelandic chicken. This ancient landrace breed is one of the hardiest birds on the planet. They've been surviving in Iceland since the 9th century, and they are built for resilience. We're talking cold-hardy, predator-savvy, and incredible foragers. Icelandics are small to medium in size, and they come in a huge variety of colors and patterns. A good hen will lay 180-220 medium-sized white or tinted eggs per year, and they'll do it while thriving on pasture, weeds, and even rough ground where commercial breeds would starve. If you're running a permaculture or low-input system, this is a bird to look into. Next up, the Bresse. This is the Wagyu beef of chickens. Originating from France, the Bresse is considered the finest tasting chicken in the world. And yes, it's pricey. Bresse meat birds in France are finished on milk and grains and sell for upwards of $50, $100 a piece. But here's the deal. You can legally buy and raise American Bresse in the US, and they're gaining traction fast. American Bresse birds are a dual-purpose dream. They grow quickly, processing weights in 16 weeks, and still lay about 200-250 cream-colored eggs a year. Plus, their feed conversion is excellent. They're calm, beautiful, and surprisingly easy to manage. If you want a premium product or to breed for a niche market, this is a bird that delivers both flavor and function. Now let's talk about the true backyard workhorse, the Chanticleer. This is one of the only chicken breeds developed in Canada, and it shows. These birds are incredibly cold-hardy, with small combs that won't frostbite and thick feathering that laughs at snowstorms. They're calm, good foragers, and lay a solid 200 eggs a year, even in the dead of winter when other breeds slow down. They come in white, partridge, and buff colorings, and they're great meat birds too. Nice full breast, great carcass shape. If you're in a northern climate and want self-reliance with minimal input, Chanticleers are a hidden gem. And now something you may have never heard of, the Ixworth. This rare English breed was developed as a meat bird that could be raised efficiently without intensive grain feeding. It's one of the few heritage breeds that was bred specifically to challenge commercial broilers, without sacrificing flavor or structure. They're stocky, with excellent muscle-to-bone ratio, and they still lay a decent number of eggs, about 150 to 180 per year. The downside? They're rare. But if you're into breed preservation and you want something practical that's not just for show, this is a bird worth hunting down. Last shout out, Swedish flower hens. With speckled, splashy feathers and calm personalities, these birds are a total joy to have on the farm. They're good layers, active foragers, and incredibly cold tolerant. Like Icelandics, they're a landrace breed, which means they've developed through natural selection over generations. No two Swedish flower hens look alike. If you like birds with personality and genetic diversity, this breed has it in spades. So those are your underrated all-stars, birds that deserve way more love than they get. Coming up next, we'll dive into the birds making waves in alternative systems, free-range models, no-grain flocks, and ultra-hardy homestead setups. If you're the kind of chicken keeper looking to slash feed bills, increase self-reliance, or just raise birds the way nature intended, this section is for you. These breeds thrive in low-input systems. Think true free-range, regenerative, or no-grain flocks. They're not just surviving out there, they're thriving, finding their own food, dodging predators, and still giving you eggs or meat with minimal human input. First up, the Egyptian Fayumi. If there was a chicken apocalypse, these birds would be the last ones standing. The Fayumi is an ancient breed from Egypt, adapted to dry, hot climates and raised for centuries on scraps and forage. They are fast, flighty, and fiercely predator-aware, basically the ninja chickens of the homestead. They lay a respectable 150-200 small white eggs per year, and they start young. Many begin laying at just 4 months. Their meat is gamey but flavorful, and they barely touch grain if they have access to pasture or compost piles. If you want disease resistance, zero pampering, and birds that can literally live off the land, these are your chickens. Next, the Icelandic, revisited, but now in this specific context. Yes, we already mentioned them, but it's worth doubling down. Icelandics are foragers extraordinaire. They'll dig through leaf litter, scratch through snow, and chase down insects in a way that rivals guinea fowl. In off-grid or mobile coops, they are incredibly efficient. They also retain their wild instincts, which helps with aerial predator evasion. They may not be lap chickens, but they're reliable and independent. Perfect for a hands-off flock that still delivers. Third, the Campine. This is an old Belgian breed you almost never hear about, but it's built for the forage life. Campines are alert, active, and excellent flyers. They're small-framed birds with big personalities and high egg production, up to 250 white eggs per year, even under tough conditions. They don't tolerate confinement well, but if you have land for them to roam, they will take full advantage. Plus, their feathering is absolutely striking, gold or silver with tight, even barring. Think of them as a mix between utility and ornament. Don't sleep on the true landrace birds either, like the Java or the Buckeye. These heritage breeds were developed before grain rations were a thing. Buckeyes, for example, were bred in Ohio in the 1800s to be active foragers, cold-hardy and dual-purpose. They have pea combs to resist frostbite and a calm, curious nature that makes them ideal for free-range setups. Javas are older still, dating back to the 1600s. They're slower growing but excellent foragers and meat producers, and because they haven't been bred for industrial traits, they retain a lot of natural resilience that modern breeds have lost. And one final surprise? The Malay. These birds are tall, prehistoric looking, and not widely known for production, but they are built like tanks. Originally from Southeast Asia, Malays are incredibly strong, weather-hardy, and protective. While not top egg layers, they're useful in mixed flocks to deter predators and hold their own on open range. Their meat is dense and flavorful, and they can be used to create new lines that are better adapted for free-range or no-grain setups. So if you're trying to build a low-input, high-output flock, these are the chickens to consider. To note, they are what is considered an aggressive breed, original bred for cockfights, so not ideal for beginners. Coming up next, we'll wrap things up with some final thoughts on how to choose breeds that match your goals, not just trends. It's easy to get caught up chasing the next big thing in chickens, but here's the truth. The best breed is the one that fits your land, your climate, and your goals. If you want consistent eggs with minimal feed input, heritage layers like the Icelandic or Campine shine. If you're selling pasture-raised meat and need fast growers, Freedom Rangers or Bressie might be your best investment. Looking for fun, flair, and Instagram-worthy birds? Ayam Samanis or the so-called zombie chickens are the attention grabbers, and if you're focused on self-reliance or homesteading with minimal outside input, breeds like Fayumi, Java, and Buckeye can help you raise chickens with nearly no grain, just like they did 100 years ago. But don't underestimate your personal preferences. Chickens are more than just production units. They're part of your landscape, your ecosystem, and your daily rhythm. Whether you're drawn to quirky personalities, broody hens, or show-stopping feathers, there's a breed out there that'll fit your style. And one last thing, breeds go in and out of fashion. But sustainability, resilience, and adaptability never go out of style. Choose breeds that will work with your land, not against it, and your flock will be healthier, your inputs will be lower, and your mornings a little brighter. If you found this breakdown helpful, hit that like button, share it with your chicken-loving friends, and drop a comment below. What breeds are you raising, and which ones are you curious to try next? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.